Welcome to the Thursday edition of End the Simpademic, and I'm coming at you today. I did promise a particular subject on my Twitter X account, and so we're just going to go there right out the gate here today. And that is the most avoidable version of simping that there is. It's called the friend zone, and I will tell you right now, while OnlyFans is probably the most disgusting and the most sickening simping as possible, the most avoidable and really honestly the most tragic one is the friend zone. And just to tell everybody real quick and to define it here, the friend zone is a place where a woman who you may be interested in places you in. They say that they're going to be your friend, that they want to be your friend, but it's called the friend zone because they use it as a manipulation tool to get girlfriend benefits without girlfriend responsibilities. And what this is just a means for them to get those benefits, number one, and number two, as a means of self-validation for themselves, to make them feel good about themselves, that they have, somebody who's just jonesing to be with them and is bending over backwards, and it's a control mechanism, and they kind of get bragging rights amongst their lady or women friends out there. And here's some real I can't say that these are necessarily guaranteed things, but I would just say with reasonable certainty, at least for me, that they worked fairly well. As I've mentioned sporadically on this channel before, I do have a series of dreams about who my future woman is. And you don't have to have something like this, but you do have to have a really good idea. And there is a sense, at least in ones where the sparks really do get flying, that you really know immediately. And when I do meet her, we're going to know pretty close to immediately. The whole dating thing is just a means to just really firm that up. But we're just going to know immediately that we are here for each other. And one thing that we will be is a better together, where 1 + 1 = 4. And that's financially, personally, spiritually, and everything else that you can think of under the sun. Now, what does this have to do with being a simp and being in the friend zone? Well, a lot. Because if you don't have a really good idea exactly of who this woman is going to be, anything else that comes along and you just suddenly find yourself being drawn to is going to be a potential simp magnet. You're going to be a potential simp magnet for that woman. And they're going to be able to manipulate and use you accordingly. Now, if this woman comes along and, she matches everything that you wanted to be, again, does she reciprocate? Again, if you immediately know, the question is, does she reciprocate equally? If not, no bueno. It's a no-go. And it's something that, a connection like that with a future partner has to be something where both people know. No amount of groveling or changing is going to change that particular fact. I have a couple of phrases that I use in regards to this particular subject, in regards to simping and friend zoning. The first one is, if you're having to chase a woman, you're having to chase them because they're running, and you're not going to ever be able to catch somebody like that, because once a woman puts you in a friend zone or puts you in that particular type of mentality, it's almost impossible to change your mind. You're never actually going to necessarily be able to change her mind. It would have to be something that would have to happen with her, something that dramatically changes her worldviews, dramatically changes her view of men. And the odds of that happening are, in each case, I would say less than 5%. If you're in somebody's friend zone, the odds of you being able to change somebody or having something happen that's going to change your worldview, less than 5%. If I'm a gambling man, which I actually am, but I will say that it's very minuscule either way. it's very minuscule of a chance. Once they see you as a friend, that's what it is. Now, this kind of brings up a separate but related question. If you're a single man, can you actually be a friend with a woman? Yes, but under very limited circumstances. And I'll tell you what those circumstances are. If there is a connection that you have with somebody that has nothing to do with romance and doesn't create any sort of emotional or sexual tension, sure. In my case, I have one who would potentially be my real estate agent, for example. But I mean, we talk about a lot of things that are completely unrelated. She's actually married herself, and that's all we talk about, you know. And in fact, we live several hundred miles apart nowadays, so that's even better, you know. There's not going to be any side things or any games going on in a situation like that, you know. There's not going to be any meetups, you know, as long as there's no like meeting her alone or anything like that. If there's a professional connection, or if there's a interest connection, for example, if there's like even a hobby. So for example, in my particular case, poker, you know, or even a sports team in particular, where there's just a mutual interest, where we both love that interest probably more than, you know, than we ever could each other, and we realize that, that's great, you know. There's not going to be, I'm not a relationship wrecker, I'm not a home wrecker, certainly is not my intent, never will be. But if you can do that under those very limited circumstances, yes, it is possible. Otherwise, no. And as far as being any kind of a friend, what I like to also tell somebody who says, oh, can we just be friends, is this. I have enough women friends. I do. I really do. I don't need any more. I have plenty as it is. That's my line, and usually my response in a situation like that. Hey, you know, can we just be friends? Well, no, because I have enough of those. I have an impressive collection of them, if I'm going to be dead honest. You know, they're mostly married. They're mostly in committed relationships. A lot of them are fairly attractive, but that's not the goal, not the purpose. We will have some sort of a mutual interest that is not related to personal relationships, not related to attraction. It's something that's just completely out of that scope, you know. And so, I mean, you can be friends in that arena alone, and you would never meet this person in a place alone. I mean, dear God, avoid that. The friend zone, as somebody said in a different video of mine a while back, the friend zone is a volunteer place. You are volunteering to be there. You are volunteering to put yourself up for that kind of abuse and that kind of mistreatment by a woman, and that's all there is to it. You need to know exactly what you're looking for. And you also need to determine that that person is going to also know that they're looking for you. That connection will happen immediately. There's no reason to ever put yourself in a friend zone. Absolutely none. It does nobody any good except for maybe the person who's using you, and they're going to use you for benefits. Sometimes it's financial. It's not very common for it to be financial. Sometimes it can be, but at the same time, it's a volunteer place. It's a place where you allow yourself to be put by a woman to be used and abused and taken advantage of for things that she should normally be relying in a relationship, or in a relationship that she may already be in. And that is really just the bottom line. This is one kind of simping that you totally can, should, and must avoid. Do not do it. If you have genuine women friends, such as I do, where there's no interest, no tension, none of that type of thing, leave it with those. You have enough friends. And if you don't have that, that's what other guys are for. You know, you can tell your men friend, you know, if you're like me and you have a tribe of male friends, that you can also tell really deepest things that I can't tell any of my women friends. That's all the better as well. You know, tell them, you know, things about, you know, your life struggles and things of that variety. If you have that, you're a winner. That's all I have to say about that. If you have that particular type of band of brothers type of situation and those kinds of friends, you are winning. You are a winner in life. No other way to put it. The friend zone is a tragic place to be, but men let themselves be put there. So again, stopping the Simpademic, this is one huge category in which men need to just stop. If you need help, there's plenty of it to be had. I can help you too, for that matter. But anyway, I will leave it at that. And again, this is the Thursday version. Tomorrow I'm going to go talk about something else. And I'm going to be talking in terms of what happens when you do start dating somebody and you just don't feel their energy back and you're not being reciprocated. And the Simpademic also equates down to recognizing when you're not getting the reciprocation back for your effort, or as we like to call it in the poker and business worlds, ROI, or return on investment. If you're getting zero on that, how do you end that and keep yourself protected? And a lot of those situations also become friend zone scenarios as well. So I'm going to kind of go back to the root there on this one. So tomorrow I'll be back and I'll be talking about learning how to recognize reciprocation, learning how to recognize its importance. So that's it. We will see you all tomorrow.